Alright guys, check this out. Making up to $14,000 per month as a private chef. So when I first saw this video on CNBC, I was blown away by Michael's success story. Essentially, after being laid off from his recruiting job during the pandemic, he decided to become a full-time private chef. He has no formal culinary training, but he's been able to build a business that makes him close to $200,000 per year. His story is super interesting, and in this video, we have Michael on the show, where he shares his story, advice, and tells us how you can build a similar business from the ground up. And if you want to stay up to date with future episodes like this, be sure to like and subscribe. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so thanks, Michael, for jumping on the show. I was super excited to talk to you once I saw the video on CNBC, and I think you're gonna have a lot of really interesting things to share. So can you sort of tell us more about your story? I know the video sort of went through it a little bit, but I'd love to know like your story and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah. So I have a passion for cooking. I've been cooking for the past couple of years just for fun as a hobby. And, that inspired me to go travel around the world. And I've taken a couple cooking classes, trying to learn the culture, but also just learn, just like how to make things from scratch and with the local ingredients. But, I just love that whole idea of the experience. And I loved it so much that I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring it to the States and I'm going to monetize on this. But anyways, I love I love the experience, and so I decided to go ahead and monetize it, bring it to the States, and I was making lots of cash on the side while I had my full-time job. I was too scared. I was too scared to do this full-time because, I had a good salary in my last job working as a product manager. Even though the show said I was a recruiter, I was a product manager and, just doing account management. And yeah, I was with there for 5 years, and our company unfortunately got hit pretty bad due to the pandemic. And so 450 of us got laid off. So I was just like, you know what? Maybe this is a sign for me to go ahead and do this full time, because a lot of people are reaching out to me and no one's going out of the country. No one's going to restaurants. No one's going out of town. Everyone wants to stay home. And I'm like, you know what? Why don't I bring the experience to your house? So I'm just kind of re-experiencing the things that I learned overseas, like San Sebastian, Spain, Brazil, Hong Kong, Bologna, Italy, and all these different places around the world. And I wanted to bring it to the States. And yeah, here I am. And, CNBC caught wind of my story. They love the story. And here I am and enjoying it.
Sweet. Can you tell the audience more about what your business is, like how you monetize and make money?
Yeah, so what we do is we bring the chef experience to your home without you having to lift a finger. However, there's a little bit of a twist. We can also make it a fun, interactive dinner. Right. So basically what it is you look at my menu, I got all arrays of different types of foods, like Asian cuisines, Asian fusion, Italian food, Thai food. You got Brazilian food, you got Portuguese food, Spanish foods, all different types of cuisines, including American food. Right. And people just enjoy it. Right. And so what I want to do is people have the opportunity for us to come over and cook them a 5-course meal. And after that, they don't have to worry about anything, but just enjoy some food, and we take care of everything for you. So basically what we're doing is bring the experience in the restaurant to your home.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Wow.
And then after that, we just charge, per head count, and we go from there.
Cool. That's really cool. I feel like that's a type of business that not many people think about starting. And I'm super passionate about like the different ways that people can make money besides just working a normal 9-to-5 job, right? So when I saw what you do, I was like, that's super interesting.
Another thing we do is we offer virtual cooking classes as well,
Okay.
Right? Because some people are still, obviously, like due to distance, like we can't really see each other that often,
Right.
people on the side of the country, and they also prefer to stay stay remote. What we do is offer virtual cooking classes. So I do like large virtual classes for large Silicon Valley companies. I provide the ingredients, they go ahead and purchase everything that they need to get. And after that, I send them a bridge and we go ahead and log on and everybody's ready to go and do everything from
Nice.
risotto making and pasta making.
So for someone that wants to do something similar, like, because I feel like a lot of people love cooking. I think a lot of people love, making that how they make money. How would you go about monetizing? Do you think like what you're doing, this type of niche is something that a lot of people can do? Or like when when it's time for you to begin monetizing like cooking?
Well, you have to understand this too, and I want to just be completely transparent with people, is that cooking is basically like a 10% of what I'm doing right now. 10%. It's a lot of operations. So
Okay.
if you are wanting to jump into something like this, brace yourself. because I'm not here to talk about all the glories of like, being a private chef. I mean, yeah, it's got its perks. I can think of more pros than cons, but man, you are working your butt off to a point. You're just like, the last thing I want to do is cook something at the end of the day. Right.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to tell people is that, for you to go out your business, I think when it's time for you to go ahead and monetize is when the demand is good. You know what I'm saying? When the demand is good. I mean, 'cause like at the end of the day, all your good friends are going to say, yeah, it's good food. I like it. It's free stuff. Right. But you have to look at your time. Look at your time, how much time you spend on prepping, shopping, cooking, and traveling to like, people's homes. Then you got to realize, man, I can't do this forever. You can't just do it for free. Like for me, like I knew that I wanted to make money. I was always been a hustler. I always been wanted to somehow grow like my wallet many different ways. And I think at the end of the day for me is just like, you know what, this is something I love to do, but why don't I just make money while I'm doing something that I love to do?
Right.
Right. And so,
can you take us through the first time like you monetized and had one of these classes?
yeah. So like, I started doing this first with friends, like I didn't automatically right off the bat say, hey, I can make some money right off the bat when I got back from out of the country. But it's just like, I've been noticing a lot of my friends when we get together is like, hey man, let's all get drunk and let's get wasted and let's make some food all together. So we just all became like just a group of people just hanging out, all of us are just hanging out, having a good time. And then after that, I noticed that more friends are posting stories about me and they're like, hey, like there's a chef. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So demand is pretty high right now. I can't do this for free. Okay. Like I'm nice, but at the same time, it's like, man, I'm just tired. I'm doing all this stuff. And like, yeah, people pay for the ingredients, and I'm like, nah, I mean, like I can't do this forever. I can't do this for free. And then someone reached out to me, right, asking, hey, do you provide pasta making parties or any sort of dinner parties? Because I saw that on Instagram and I want to do something special for our partners. So it's like this bunch of eye surgeons, a bunch of eye surgeons want to celebrate a deal that they closed. They want to do it by hiring the chef that's going to make lots of different types of luxurious foods, right? Like caviar, like beef Wellington, or all that good jazz. So they reached out to me and I'm like, I've never done this. Well, I mean, I've done this, but I've never done this on a professional level. But, it's just like you fake it till you make it, right? At first, right? And I was just like, here's the cost, blah, 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 and I just gave myself a little smaller percentage onto that, and I was just like, I am worth more than this. Like, what? Like, I netted, $300 doing something like this, working for like 15 clients, and I'm like, dude, this is not right. This doesn't sound right. So then after that, I started reaching out to other chefs, how they do it. People do group pricing, people do head count. And I said to myself, you know what, this is what I'm worth. This is what I think what it is. I can't tell you the number. But I mean, like, this is what I'm worth. This is what I'm able to take away. I want to go from there. And then after that, then I started to see some sort of like I see that I'm making money at least, for my time.
Yeah. I feel like something that everyone struggles with, especially new businesses, is how to find clients. So after that first client, how did you continue getting more and more clients?
The whole time, man. I mean, it's all through word of mouth, 100%. Okay. I think I've been really fortunate that like I've been doing a lot of work like in downtown Atlanta or like in Metro Atlanta in the corporate world. And I was in sales and recruiting and I built such a really good network. It's not like I just started this business and all of a sudden, boom, here we go. Like I've always been known to be somewhat like an aspiring chef. Facebook, people see all the content like, wow, oh yeah, Michael O's cooking this, Michael O's cooking that. That's what I'm like, Michael. It's like, Michael is cooking this. So they always associated me with food. I go to new restaurants. People are like, oh man, I need to check out where Michael O's eating now, right? So like, I did this without the intentions of me being a chef or being some sort of Instagram star, not that I am, But I mean, like, I had no intentions of what I'm doing will get me somewhere at least. You kind of ponder like, what am I doing, Mom? My parents are like wasting their time. They're telling me that you're wasting your time. What are you doing, Michael? And I said to myself, yeah, like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just doing this. I'm having fun. And I never would have thought that 10 years from that point on, like, it's been beneficial because people started associating with me at food and people started seeing that post when I did it with a bunch of eye surgeons. And, I'm just like wearing my chef coat. It's like, this is what I'm doing. Cool. Hit me up. And then after that, I was like, dude, it's about time you do something like this, Michael. So a lot of people praise me for something like this because they had no idea that like, you know what, you're just wasting away. You're behind a desk the whole time. Nothing wrong with that. Right. But I think there was more out there for me, like I didn't feel very fulfilled. So a lot of my friends know that. And I think at that point in time, I was working full time, my other job, and then they're seeing me doing this as my business started taking off from there.
So if someone wants to do the exact same thing that you're doing, what would you tell them to do? Like, what are the first steps? How can they, learn how to do these things, these parties, and how they find the first client?
Oh man, I mean, first of all, I would tell them to find another profession, guys. Right? I'm kidding. No, I'm just joking. Honestly, this is a beautiful profession, right? And it's not for everybody. The people that I highly recommend this for people that are very gregarious, people that are extroverts, because someone that works as a line cook that has no social skills, this is not the way it is. Because like at the end of the day, it's like people are buying for your services, right? For that person, not just necessarily like, for their food. Yeah, the food's got to be good, but you got to have that personality. You be able to relate to one another. So I think that's going to be key. So if anybody wants to be in this type of industry and where to start, first of all, you got to make sure that you're mentally there. Okay. Because like if you're an introvert, don't like to be around people, I think this is not going to be the job for you. But where to start, I know this is not going to happen overnight, but you're going to start posting things, right? So I tell people like, listen, social media is my biggest marketing driver. So what I tell people is that why don't you just start off working with a bunch of friends of yours, Like do some dinners with a small group of friends, make it small, all right? Start small first and try to test it out, I mean, think about it this way. When you start a business, you're going to have to end up spending money. So look at it that. That's a cost of doing business, right? So buy your time and also buy your ingredients and then set up a small group and do these dinners and take some really good pictures. Maybe hire a professional chef. I'm just saying this is not going to be for everyone. This is what I would suggest for anyone that wants to do this, right? So when they're doing this, they take pictures and you start posting. Be like, hey, hashtag, like, you got to be open with social media. You got to have a Instagram. I think that's going to be key at Twitter. But they're like hashtag certain things. Let's say you're in the Bay Area, hashtag San Francisco chefs or San Mateo chefs or things like that. Start posting as long as you can. And another thing that too is that your friends that are tagged can repost it and they could share that to all their networking. Their whole network. So they have 8,000 people. Another person has 12,000 followers. Another 10,000 followers. And you got yourself at least like 30,000 followers that are reaching out to. So start there, and then. But like I'm saying, like you got to understand the cadence. Like with all your friends around you, you got to make sure that timing is correct. You want to make sure that the food comes out good. Just, like if you're under pressure, it's going to affect you in many ways. You can prep, take pictures all you want, but when it comes time to cook, you're in a totally different mentality. So your friends are going to be there. They're going to give you honest feedback on foods, right? And also your services. So start small and work yourself big, because I promise you this right now, it's not going to happen overnight. That's the biggest misconception right now. This day and age in society, a lot of us want things instantly. All right. For me, I like my packages on time. I like my food on time. I like everything now. You're not gonna get this overnight, and I promise you, this didn't happen to me before. Instagram wasn't even around. When I started this career.
Okay, so it takes time, but like you said, social media is so important, right?
Oh, 100%.
Is that how you get?
Yeah.
So I assume social media plus word of mouth, is that how you get a majority of your clients?
Yes, sir.
What separates you from other people? Like, why are you so successful at this? And what can people learn from that to sort of implement into their own business?
I think you just got to be yourself. I'm just this crazy, rambunctious person. But the great thing about me is I can relate to many different people, right? I mean, I feel like this is almost like a job interview, like what separates me from everyone else. I'm Michael Lowe at the end of the day. This is who I am. And I got a lot of knowledge under my belt, not necessarily me going to a culinary school, but, I've been around so many people throughout my whole life. And I feel like for me, I could carry on a conversation with everyone, You look at my network ranges from everywhere from like someone that, works as a teacher, a lawyer, doctor, athletes, celebrities. I mean, you just name it, the full circle, right?
Yeah.
I think the biggest advice I tell people is just not be a don't be a
Don't be.
yeah. I mean, don't be a at all. You don't have to like set your ego to the side. Just like learn about each other, or just because of past, everyone's gonna be different at the end of the day, right? Someone has different political beliefs. Someone has different religious beliefs. I mean, I think for them, people is that be open. Because I mean, even with my clients. You got people, when it comes to politics, people from the left and the right. You got people that are extreme. You have individuals that have different religious beliefs, which I understand, which is great, which is beautiful. But you got people that are so different. So therefore, like, I encourage people to network. Networking is absolutely key.
Okay. Yeah, coming from, I'm an introvert and I always like learning like different things people do to connect with others because sometimes I feel like I have a hard time doing that. Are there any like specific things you say or topics you talk about that, gets people to sort of bond with you?
Yeah, traveling is key. I think
Yeah.
traveling, my experiences, also my travel excursions have been very unique. It's very unique. It's a little different than most of the average people. Something I like to share. Also, like my background, especially the people that are having people coming over to cook, especially for an experience like this. Majority of the time, they're very social. Now, I'm not saying like introverts, don't get me wrong, introverts can do the things like that. I'm saying like, to my eyes, when I say introverts, I think of someone that just needs some time to themselves and recharge their batteries, as opposed to like someone that's social. Because there's so many of my friends that are introverts. For me, I believe it or not, I am an extrovert introvert as well, right? But what I tell people is that like I could share my personal experiences and somehow they can relate. Here in Georgia, we hunt, and I'm a big hunter. I love to hunt. I love going to different types of concerts. I love music. So there's always something that I can relate to in many different ways. But like we have lots of conversations on concerts, travel experiences, restaurants we've been to, our family dynamics. Like sometimes I go to those homes that are Korean homes, and we just share things about our upbringing, how we can relate in any ways, you know, if that answers your
So
question.
sort of read the situation and you're able to, be able to connect with pretty much anyone.
I try to, at least. I try to.
Well, you're obviously very good at it because I feel like people, yeah, like you said, you said 10% cooking and then 90% it's like you, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like,
That's awesome.
I break it off a little bit into like operations and
Right.
managing, but
Oh, okay.
it's me at the end of the day. But I'm always willing to learn too. I mean, my food's got to be good. And
Can you take us through like a typical day where you're throwing one of these parties? Let's say you have a party at 5 p.m. So like, how does your day look?
so it's very different for different days of the week. You know what I'm saying? It depends on the timing and all that, right? I mean,
Right.
every day is always gonna be different. Sometimes like we wake up in the morning and I check my emails. I'm like, oh, we got a new inquiry. I gotta check my Instagram. Oh, 20 people already reached out to me, wanting to have a conversation with me from like CNBC. So like if I know I have a party at 5 o'clock, we always have a certain task I need to do. So I have a team of 5 people on our team, or excuse me, total we have 7 people, and then I reach out to my main sous chef guy. He provides me just like a list of tasks of like everything that's been done. So I send a list of things that I need to send out to my crew like a week beforehand. They're like, hey, or send that to my right hand man, and he goes ahead and delegates certain tasks. Like someone needs to cook, clean, or pack up everything they need to pack up, or go shop for things. So on that day, I look at the list of like, what's on our menu, and who's bringing what, how we're going to be able to execute this and the time of it. So I look at the list and I'm like, all right, so this is what I need to get done, or this is what this person is. So I look at the assignments for everyone else, like a to-do list. And then after that, hop on a quick call or probably have a meeting an hour before the actual time that we all get there, and then get ready to go. Now, it was a lot different beforehand.
Right.
Before, I used to be like, all right, I got to get up and I got to make sure the sauce is made, or I got to start baking a couple things and things like that, because now I got different people on our team that are making the pasta dough, or, they're marinating the fish, or they're doing certain things. It depends on like what your week consists of, like what dinners we need to do. Because if we have a dinner on that Friday, and for instance, miso sea bass, I want to make sure that it's marinated for a good 2 solid days. So we got to make sure that my guy orders the fish on that Monday, and it will arrive on Tuesday, and then we start like preparing everything and marinating and all that. Does that make sense? So it's all about
Yeah.
timing and coordinating. Because like I used to be a control freak where I reach out to each and every single person, like, hey, do you do this? You got to do that. You could do it. Like I reach out to my guy and let him handle it. It's just almost
Okay.
like a chain of command. I think that helped out a lot with corporate America. So I treat like my day as if it's like I'm going into the office. I'll hop on my laptop and see what else is ready, what are pending items, check out a couple things such as like invoicing, and have calls with like my accountant or my attorney, and treat it almost like a job that I work in the office.
Got it. Yeah, dude, I thought this probably sounds dumb, but I thought you would just like go somewhere, pick up the stuff right before the party, and then just go to the party. I didn't realize you had to like actually prep stuff and like, have things ready.
No, that's a good one. That's what. So I used to do that.
Yeah.
I used to do that.
Okay.
Right. It's better off because like when we talk about money, right? You have a dinner for the whole week and you notice a majority of the party is gonna all order for some odd reason. Everyone's gonna have a steak, you know? You have to make sure that, you know what? If a lot of these like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, everyone's eating steak, you know, for dinner, then why don't I go to a different supplier? You get things in bulk, you know? Because if you just go like a day after day and shop, you know, I don't know what the right term is, but like you shop on demand, right? If you shop on demand, you're not going to be making much money. Does that make sense? And like what like chefs like to do, they like to stretch out their inventory. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you have like for instance, if one party wants to do tuna tartare and another party wants to do like we have a sushi party, right? Where we do nice sashimi. You have I.e. tuna seared steaks, right? On a salad. I would go ahead and get a large fish and slice it up, butcher it up. Does that make sense? Like that's the best way to do it, you know? Because you want to stretch out your inventory. And then you got a Monday specials. Like guys, like I got this tuna tartare, like I will make it for our tuna poke bowls. It's only going to be a limited time. Go grab it. This is how much it costs. Here's the location. And everyone's like, oh my God, we'll go. And so, like I'm saying, you got to be smart with your money, you know, because you're running a business at the end of the day, right? That's the thing is you have to understand that, like for people, like, yeah, it's very glamorous to be like in a nice chef coat and like you're around these beautiful ladies and you have a beautiful house. You can make good money doing that, right? But at the same time, it's running a business, guys.
Right. Like you've built a big team. You've been doing this for a while. So you have all this like logistics and things down to optimize it really well. For someone that's like just a one person team and they're just, you know, trying this out, what would you say, like how should they handle like the getting the food and all that stuff?
They go slow, right? Slow down. Don't panic, right? Because sometimes it gets overwhelming, right? Do one thing at a time. Because I think it's almost just like riding a bicycle. The more you try, you fall. It gets better and better and better. And after that, it's smooth sailing. It's almost like muscle memory. You know, look at it that way. So don't do any big parties. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Because the thing is, the reason why they have a client that reached out to them is because they've seen their work. They've seen the things they've done before. So I know that for a fact, nobody that I know or anyone that I can think of at the top of my head who has never ever cooked for anyone in their lives would never jump into something like this. There's no way. You know what I'm saying? You want to start cooking for a few people, you know, like your friends or so-and-so, and then you built that credibility, and that's where people were able to find you through their friends. Because no friend's going to be like, yeah, he's never cooked before. He likes to cook, but you should hire him. That's a disaster, you know?
Right.
Because, I mean, there's a lot of people that are better cooks than I am. I know that for a fact. People that I've been to their houses and they cook really fancy dinners or, like, they cook me some food, and it's phenomenal. But when you're cooking at a larger scale for 6 people that you don't barely even know, right? And then they're all seated, they fly into town to see you. And then all of a sudden, like, you're just like, they'll like look at the clocks, man, we got to get home because the babysitters are about to be up. You know, like, that's the pressure you get. But the thing is, like, you do this so many times, you don't think about that. That makes sense.
Is it always you going out to these parties now? Or do you also sometimes have parties where it's not you and it's like hired out?
So every single party I go to, but there's sometimes I'm double booked, and I love those like expectations. You know, I tell people like, hey, listen, I'm booked out, but I have my right hand person. He's my sous chef. He can lead these dinners. He knows the right things to do. He knows my inner. I mean, he's such an amazing person. You know, like Garvin is. You know, he knows my recipe to a T. He provides the services over there for the most part. I mean, it stinks because I'm the product end of the day. You know, my name is Chef O, right? So, like, it'd be discouraging when you have the Chef O experience and you have another guy comes in, right? I mean, like, I let them know it up front, you know, but for the majority of the time when they book me, they want to see me, you know, and I'm there. And occasionally I'll kind of like finish my party. I'll kind of make my way over to the next party and say, hey, you know, and, introduce myself.
Do you enjoy it?
I do like it a lot. You know, I never had a job that and it just matches my personality, considering the fact that like a lot of these dinners I'm doing are from like mutual friends. Atlanta is a big city, but a small world. You know, a lot of people happen to know each other. And it's really cool that, you know, I had the opportunity to, you know, do these dinners and you could connect in many different ways. And like you could reunite with some of your friends that you grew up with. people you haven't seen in years, and then all of a sudden you're like, you're actually really cool. Like I really, like I'm surprised we never hung out with each other in high school. You know what I'm saying? Because like people I barely even knew in high school, like all of a sudden found out about the Chef O experience and they booked me, and then after dinner or during dinner we just have a cigar or a glass of wine or beer or whatever, and we're just shooting it. Like it's
That's
like,
cool.
and that gives me that sense of fulfillment. I love that because I think that my
Nice,
personality and like my passion with networking and meeting people, I think is that got me somewhere in life.
Do you have any advice for someone that's like in a traditional career, but they want to try something out that's related to their passions or just like, working for themselves? Like what would you tell them?
I think the most important thing is before you, continue what you're doing full time, right? Like, so you're just to make sure you're asking the right question. Like anyone that's working full time, but anyone that wants to make that leap of their passion. Okay, so what
Yeah.
I tell people is continue what you're doing, right? But when you talk about as a side hustle, I tell people this, and this is the thing that people don't understand, and I want to emphasize this so much. When you have a side hustle, that means on your off day or your downtime, right? That's going to be used towards your side hustle. You know what I'm saying? So there's no such thing as a work-life balance if you're trying to have a side hustle, because any free time you get, you can be working. So any free time that you have, and also if you're passionate about it, you will make time, okay?
Right.
Make time for your side hustle or your side passion. Work on it and perfect on it, and then keep on try to build some clientele. Do that as a side hustle, whatever you're doing while you're working full time to pay the bills. Save up enough money. All right. I didn't have this luxury. All right? I didn't have this luxury at all. Okay. Because like, and I'll tell you about that story later. But like, I tell people that continue what you're doing, and on your side, on your free time, work on your side hustle, and then build that network as you're building that side hustle, make some extra cash. And until you have money saved up from your full-time job, like 3 months of salary, 4 months of salary,
Right.
just gradually start like focusing on your priority towards something else. Don't get yourself fired. You want to make sure you leave on good terms, and then like gradually start, put your 2 weeks notice. And then after that, start hustling and then work every day as like it's your last day, you're going to be hustling your butt off, but I didn't have that luxury. I didn't leave on my own terms, so that was tough.
Yeah.
After you bought a house.
Yeah, I think that's smart because a lot of side hustles, you might not like cash flow immediately, especially if it's hard to find clients. So I do like what you said, like optimally you'll continue working full time and just chip away at this side hustle on your off time and build it up to a point where you can actually start slacking a little bit at work and then at some point leave that job.
That's a deep prioritizing, right?
Yeah. I like that. How do you create your pricing structure for your business?
That's a question a lot of people ask me, especially like, when he reached out to me after the video came out on CNBC. It all depends on like, look at like, look at your costs. There's a certain percentage you have of everything. And then also the amount of revenue you make, and you break it up hourly. Know what you're worth. That's the best way I can describe it. If that makes sense. Right. Like look at your costs, when it comes to business, you don't want things to be more than like 30, 40%. I don't know. I didn't ever take any business classes, but whatever you're making, you're netting, divide that by the number of hours. I'm talking about the hours that you pick up the phone, start calling someone. You're on the clock right there. So look at it that way, right? You got to make sure that, the amount of money that you're netting on top of like all the expenses, everything you have out there, divide that by the number of hours you're actually working. And then if you're happy with that number, then go ahead. That's fine. That's good. But what I tell people is give yourself a little bit of a cushion because you're paying taxes. Don't forget about that.
Right.
That's key. Right. Uncle Sam is going to be waiting for you,
What's your tax structure for your business?
So right now, like I'm 1099, so like, if that's what you're asking, like 1099.
Like, are you a sole proprietor or are you S Corp, LLC?
Right now I am a S Corp, so that's, that's what I'm doing right now. I think that's like the best way to go about you doing your business. Yeah. So you have people that work under you, have people working under you at the end of the day. I do have an LLC, obviously, that's important, but I think that just for liability reasons, you're not going to be targeted, if anything bad happens, like God forbid someone gets sick, they won't sue me. They'll go ahead and sue the organization. But, I have my guys that work for me, they're all contractors, so, I pay them like 1099. That makes sense.
Right. And then you take out a salary yourself, right, from the business?
Yeah.
Cool. Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm big on tax strategy. I feel like a lot of people that make a lot of money self-employed, they like don't realize they can, switch their business entity type from sole proprietorship to something else that can save them money. And yeah, you're just overpaying in taxes. So
I think that's the thing is too, and also not only that, you also got deductions you have to take into consideration too.
right.
Like a lot of these things, a lot of you don't realize what you do is, especially private chefs. The benefit of it, a lot of things are write-offs. Like you can use it
Yep.
for marketing strategies. Sometimes when you go out of the country, that can be done for research, right? Which is true as long
Yeah.
as you have like an itinerary of all the things you have. I mean, I have a really good bookkeeper. I've got a really good team, back office team that handles all my finances, because I mean, yeah, I used to do it all myself and it's just a nightmare. But, for me, like everything that feeds into QuickBooks, everything is all just funneled through whatever it's an expense, what kind of expense it is. It could be for transportation, it could be for T&E, or, this will be for research development and buying goods, groceries, and all that good jazz.
What are the best ROI, like return on investment things that you do nowadays that you think makes you the most amount of money or helps most with your business?
Honestly, I think, actually, I know. Taking good care of your guys, give them an extra bonus here and there.
Yeah.
Like, I treat this literally like a corporate company. We have quarterly reviews, we have goals, meaning goals as in like expectations and how much, like I give them a little incentives too, like I give my guys
Okay.
the incentives to go out and find new business, like they post and someone reaches out to their Instagram. Yeah, that's great, or if they specifically want them, I let them go ahead and write, go with it. But I think that,
Hmm.
doing extra gatherings, like, because I noticed this, it was a big difference. Like I started, like I was a little worried about hiring more people because it's eating to my costs. And it's sad that I'm saying that. It's actually, it's a huge cost of getting more people. But then I noticed that there's more dinners, whether if it's organic growth or if it's the fact that they had someone reach out to me through their network. I look at it that way and I'm like, wow, I'm seeing a big bump like in my ROI, Because if I was just like doing this where I was hiring a bunch of people and I wasn't making much money, then I think that I'm in the wrong industry. This is not right for me, But I think
Who's the first person you hired?
his name is Eric, believe it or not. Eric is actually one of my really good friends, little brother. He got really into passion cooking. Like he has no background, but he always wants to learn. And
Yeah.
he's such a personable, hardworking individual, So he was employee number one, or number two. And he has a full-time gig, so it's been kind of hard for him to be working with you. So he, after that, he started taking a seat back a little bit and work one-offs. But now the second in command, I got Garvin. He's my sous chef. He knows my business very well and our business very well, and he's absolutely amazing. And he picks up on things pretty fast, and all of my guests like him a lot. So yeah, I invested in him. And I
Paid
think it's a
off.
big, huge difference in right now in my business. I'm really proud of him.
I really like what you said about like taking care of your employees. Like a lot of people sort of like dehumanize the team, but like the team is what is making your business, successful or so well liked, right? So that's really, I think that's a really good takeaway for people watching this is like take care of your team and make them happy to work with you.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's tough finding really good employees right now. I mean, like, every time you go to restaurants, don't you ever notice that there's signs that short staffed or they're closed? Like, it's sad. Unfortunately, that's where we live at. And like, like I used to have nightmares of my guys leaving me. They're like, get out of here. And there's one point, like sometimes you lose your cool, right? I mean, you have that ego in you, like you're a chef and everyone needs to listen to you, and then like you have people that work for you that's never worked in a kitchen. So like when you blow up and yell at them like this, like you see Gordon Ramsay does, like in the last episode, or I don't want to give it away, but like it's a couple of episodes like in the show The Bear, where the guy, I forget his name, but he plays Lip in that Showtime show. What's that even called? Yeah, yeah, it's Shameless, right? He's in Shameless. But anyway, so like you see him like going nuts and crazy, and people are like, what, they all want to walk out. And so I tell people like, I treat these guys as if like I'm running an organization where it's almost like a corporate environment. So level set expectations and loud communication, have everything in writing. Everything needs to be in writing. When I tell people to do certain things, it's not like you work at a restaurant, like, hey, show up here on time, blah, blah, blah. Like, I have everything on writing, or like, hey, document things. And, like when I sign up a contract, I'm like, hey, this is what you need to do, and these are your tasks. And I send calendar invites, you accept. If you didn't accept, or if you decide to take off time, you better put it on the calendar, And so, like I said, I treat it like as if this is a corporate company.
Love it. Oh, I have a random question. What kitchen equipment do you think is a must-have? Like for anyone that wants to do something, or even for someone like me that likes cooking, like what is a great investment in the kitchen?
You gotta have good knives. 100%, you gotta have good knives.
Knives?
Do
Do you have a brand that you recommend?
I have a couple. Shun knives are really great. Miyabis are nice. I know there's a lot of chefs that are out there right now that are looking at me like, dude, you have no idea what you're talking about. But they work for me, okay? A little on the pricey side. Any knife is really good when you really think about it. It all depends on like how shiny and flashy you want it, as long as it gets the job done. Because at the end of the day, I want something that's light, but that's really sharp. And, you could look on YouTube on ways of like, sharpening your knives, but I think it's important for you to like take it to some place, to have them professionally done, because you spend this a lot of money on that. But like I said, other people can do other ways of sharpening your knives. There's other different methods you could do it, but I think having knives are very, very important. I think that's the number one thing that you need to have.
Got it. Okay. So what's next for your business? Like, how are you gonna take your business to the next level? How are you gonna continue growing and stuff like that?
I think the next thing, or I know the next thing I'm going to be doing, is I'm going to be getting into catering large parties. For me, like I'm a one-man, meaning like I'm the product. Everybody wants to see the chef experience, me over there, but I can't be everywhere at once. And there's some people that are on the team that would like to get into catering, like working for large party organizations. So trying to see where I can start with that. And I have a lot of conversations in the works with a lot of people that are in this industry. There's a possibility of me even potentially buying a like a catering company and run that organization and do that on the side. So that's in the works. Also, another thing doing is that I get a lot of requests to do a lot of meal prep plans. The reason why that I didn't get into it at first is that the margin wasn't as large enough and it's not personable. But there's some people that on the team that would like to get into that. Since I have like a group of people that would like to do more things, I could definitely get them to start or work our way to becoming like, a caterer, or like as a side sub hustle. So you have like the entity, Chefo LLC entity, the real Chefo entity. And then after that, you can branch off into like private catering or private dinners and a meal prep plan. So I think that's next on the agenda.
That's really cool. Yeah. Cause the private parties, not fully scalable, right? Like you do have to be there for, most of them or all of them.
That's the right word. You know what? You're really good at paraphrasing things easily, like scalability. That's the right thing.
Yeah. You're going to scale by introducing other like different types of, they're all related to food, but like a little bit more faceless, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
I love that.
I think that's going to be key for me.
Love it. Love it. Dude, I think you shared some like super amazing advice and tips. I think the audience is going to like take a lot from this episode. How can people find you if they want to like follow you, your content, or learn more from you?
No, the best way to follow me is through Instagram at The Real Chef O, at The Real Chef O. That's the best way to follow me. And it's really hard for me to reach out to every single person because some people get really, I hear on people's posts, like, he never reached out to me. I'm like, listen, I don't have that many followers as opposed to someone like you, I don't even have a blue check mark, all right? I don't even understand. How do you have a blue check mark and I don't have a blue check mark, But anyways, I don't want to take away from that. But what I'm just saying is, yeah, that's the best way to reach out to me. And I'll do my best to message them back, so.
And if they're in like Atlanta area, are they able to reach out to, potentially book you for an event?
Oh yeah, 100%. Strictly in Atlanta, like in Georgia. I think that's where I'm based. People can reach out to me. They can send me a message on Instagram. That's the best. That's the only way people can reach out to me is through Instagram. And I'll definitely have like someone take a look at my Instagram. I'll have a social media manager that will take a look at it, and she'll just like be like, hey, I think you need to reach out to this person, schedule a call and things of that nature.
Nice. Is there any last like piece of advice you want to leave with people?
Yeah. I think for them is that, if there's something you're really passionate about, go for 100%. But at the end of the day, like, passion is key, but you want to make some money at the end of the day, right? You got to survive. So I won't say necessarily just jump from your job 100% and do what you're passionate about, because there's a lot of my friends that love to, like, they love to paint, right? Or people that love to do a lot of sculptures, or people that are huge fitness trainers. They love fitness, right? Don't quit your 9 to 5 job immediately and just immediately start a business like this. Have something solidified before you leave your job, but just constantly just focus on the things you're really passionate about, and don't lose vision on it, and just embrace who you are. That's the most important thing. Is I tell people, just embrace who you are, because at the end of the day, it's not the product or the services you provide. People are buying it for you. I'm just saying that's just personally for me, but people want to buy for you.
Love it. Dude, Michael, thank you so much for hopping on the show.
Thank you so much. And if you guys, anyone wants to ever reach out to me, you can reach out to me at The Real Chef O, and you'll be able to see some crazy stuff that I do. But yeah, thank you so much, Charlie. And I really do appreciate all the cool things you're doing, and keep up the good work.
Thank you. Yeah. And then we'll put all the links down below. So if you guys want to reach out to Michael, those are going to be down in the description. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Michael. I definitely learned a ton from him, and hopefully you guys wrote down some good takeaways from the episode. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button and also subscribe for more content just like this. We have a ton more videos interviewing people with super cool jobs. And yeah, my whole goal is to inspire you guys to do something similar and give you a behind the scenes look of how these entrepreneurs started and run their business. Thanks so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.